Invisible barriers, boundary training. This exercise is not only a great safety exercise, but it's a great way to teach your dog concepts. Safety first. This behavior is not a substitute for a fence. Leaving a dog unattended could leave your dog in danger. Not only could your dog become spooked and run away into traffic, but people and other dogs could enter into your dog's space and cause harm to your dog. You would never leave your expensive laptop out in an unfenced yard, and so you should never leave your companion to be injured, lost, or stolen. The first step is to be 100% safe. Have your dog in a harness and attach their long line to something secure. If you're near a busy road, make sure that the dog can't get into the road where they can get hurt. Set the dog up to be 100% right every time at the start. Break the barrier up into small sections that you work on one piece at a time. Encourage your dog to move around in the space you've selected. Click and reinforce inside the space. You will be teaching your dog that he can move freely within the space designated. Try not to click your dog for standing still, sitting, or laying down, or your dog could start thinking it's about staying in one position and not within the barrier. If you're working somewhere where there's long grass and your dog can't find the treats that you've thrown, you can simply run back to your dog and feed your dog behind the barrier. The advantage of throwing the treats is that you don't have to keep running back and forth to give the dog the treat, and you can reinforce your dog for being far away from you. Now it's time to raise criteria. There are many ways to raise criteria, but first we'll start with distance. So I'm going to get further away from the dog and reinforce the dog for staying behind the barrier. If you raise criteria too quickly and your dog comes over the barrier, there are many things you can do. You can either wait and see if your dog offers to go back behind the barrier. You can point, you can give your dog a cue, you can tell him to back up, or you could lure your dog back behind the barrier. The first 5 times that your dog comes over the barrier, you can reinforce them for thinking to go back behind the barrier again. But if you keep doing this, it'll become a habit. So, if your dog comes over the barrier after 5 times, encourage your dog back behind the barrier, but wait for something better. Raise criteria and see if your dog can stay behind the barrier before clicking and reinforcing them again. Here are some exercises to do to proof the behavior. Walk back and forth in front of the dog, near and far. Walk through the area and then out, stopping at first. Run through the area and out and do some random movement. Practice from each side of the barrier as though it were a new behavior. Here you can see we're working on the concept that if something the dog wants leaves the area that the dog's supposed to stay in, the dog should stay behind and not follow the thing that they want to get. To do this, you click and feed your dog as you leave the barrier before the dog has a chance to leave the barrier himself, and then you wait the dog out and see if the dog will stay as you move forwards. If your dog does follow you over the barrier, simply encourage your dog back quickly and then try again, but this time make it easier for your dog. Here you can see I'm making it easier for Trish by stopping, reinforcing, and then moving forwards. The next time, I'm going to wait to see if she thinks to stop before clicking and coming back to reinforce her. This is Trish's first lesson of barrier training. As you can see, dogs are highly intelligent and can understand complex concepts. This is just the beginning of the training process. You want your dog to stay behind the barrier with high-level distractions as well as low-level distractions.